Emotional regulation is one of the most critical yet misunderstood drivers of performance in the modern workplace. While skills, knowledge, and experience matter, how the brain manages emotion often determines how consistently people perform. The brain is constantly processing emotional information before logic and reasoning take place. This is why self-awareness is foundational to effective leadership and teamwork. Neuro-leadership recognizes that emotional regulation is not about suppressing feelings. It is about understanding how the brain responds to internal and external stimuli and learning how to manage those responses intentionally. Neurochemicals such as dopamine and serotonin play a central role in emotional regulation. Dopamine influences motivation, focus, and reward-seeking behavior. When dopamine is unstable, productivity becomes erratic, swinging between bursts of energy and periods of disengagement. Serotonin supports emotional stability, confidence, and impulse control. When serotonin levels are disrupted, anxiety, irritability, and reduced emotional resilience often follow. Without awareness of these processes, individuals may misinterpret emotional reactions as personal weakness rather than neurological signals. This is why emotional regulation directly affects performance under pressure. High cognitive load, unmanaged stress, and bottled anger overwhelm the brain's regulatory systems, leading to impulsive reactions, poor judgment, and strained workplace relationships. Managing bottled anger and anxiety requires more than willpower. It requires practical techniques that support the brain's ability to pause, regulate, and reset. Neuro-leadership introduces practical coping strategies such as mindfulness, impulse control techniques, and emotional traffic lights for self-control. These tools help individuals recognize when emotions are escalating and choose intentional responses rather than automatic reactions. Emotional traffic lights provide a simple framework. Green represents calm awareness and clear thinking. Yellow signals rising emotion and the need to slow down. Red indicates emotional overload, where decisions should be paused until regulation is restored. These techniques support better navigation of relationships at work by strengthening empathy, communication, and boundary awareness. When individuals can regulate their emotions, they respond with curiosity rather than defensiveness, and with understanding rather than reaction. Empathy is not separate from performance. It is neurologically linked to trust, collaboration, and psychological safety. Teams that practice emotional regulation perform more consistently because emotional noise does not disrupt focus. Neuro-leadership emphasizes that well-being and performance are interconnected. When emotional regulation is prioritized, the brain conserves energy, maintains clarity, and supports sustained productivity. At Crom Consulting, Dr. Noah Julius integrates the science of emotional regulation into neuro-leadership frameworks that help leaders and teams function effectively in complex, high-pressure environments. When people understand their emotional patterns, they gain control over them. When leaders model regulation, they create cultures of trust, belonging, and stability. The brain does not perform well under constant emotional strain. But when emotional regulation is developed intentionally, performance becomes steady, relationships improve, and work becomes purposeful. Emotional regulation is not a soft skill. It is a leadership capability grounded in neuroscience.